Welcome to Sodo Creations, where we make your imagination a reality. I'm doing my intro from the car. We've done this before. I just got off work and I'm going to do a setup. So I was planning to do my intro earlier, but rush life. Sorry I look like this. It's been a long night. I'm actually leaving work later than I planned. I thought I was gonna do the setup at 7:45. Right now it's already 7:30. I'm about to leave the parking lot. Already texted the client that I'm running late. It was a rough night, but we inflated the balloons. I'm just gonna pick it up because where I'm setting up is closer to my house. Where the venue is and where I prep the balloons is closer to work. So I brought the van to work last night so I can just drive it, pick up everything that's prepped, and then head that direction to set up and then go home and sleep. If this is your first time watching my videos, please subscribe. It's a fun journey as I show you how I prep for various events. And now with an event center, you'll see all my mock setups and all my decor that I do for all the customers who book the venue. And I'll take you on that journey with me. So without further ado, let me show you how I inflated the balloons. We'll talk a little bit about the project for today, and I'll see you later on at the setup. Thank you for watching.
We're starting prep at the Sodo Creations Event Center. You remember from last time we did my full balloon organization and I showed you what I have in my bag as I pack. If you haven't seen that video, you can watch it. But sadly enough, I did not have time or haven't had time to label these bins, so I'm still searching for things by opening one bin at a time. So I'll link the video on all the basic balloon supplies you need to start your balloon business. I've been using those supplies ever since I started and it's working for me. I just needed to organize everything once I got this bag that's on the side there. So I found all the balloons I need. We're inflating this Onyx Black by Tuftex because she said she doesn't have too much space in the salon. I'll tell you about that in a second, but I'm making my quads with one 17-inch and the rest of the 3 balloons are 18 or 17 inches. So we're doing 11 inches 3 and the 17 inches 1 for a quad, and we're gonna make 2 of those for 1 color block. Had to take off my ring because it's gonna pop the balloons or stretch them. So I took that off and I'm inflating this black. She wants a classic black, white, and gold. So that's what we'll be doing today. So you'll notice I have a little bit later on an issue with the gold, but you'll find that out and it's a significant difference once I get everything inflated. But I decide to prep everything as best as I can. That measuring tape on the bottom on the floor there helps me gauge about how many balloons I would need. I know someone has asked before how many I use. I don't always have an accurate count per se. I just inflate to the length I think I would need. Sometimes I'm spot on, sometimes I still have to inflate a few. That's why you always want to pack extra balloons on site. So now we're working on the 5-inch balloons. So the gold balloons you're seeing on the left there are tuftex chrome balloons. I've always loved that for gold, but I did not realize that I did not buy the 5 inches. So I'm out of the 5-inch in the tuftex. I placed orders for gold balloons and this is the color I got. So once I inflate in the 5 inches to add to my 5-inch balloons, I realized it's completely different from the tuftex balloons. And now I'm searching my box that came in to see what exactly I ordered, and I ordered all sempertex chrome balloons instead of the tuftex chrome balloons. So on their website they don't note what brand it is. When it's qualatex it says it, but the rest of the brands are not noted. So I moved those aside. I'm gonna use that for a different install that I have coming up pretty soon for the YouTube channel, and also a mock setup for the venue. And because I have all sizes in the sempertex, I'm going to inflate those. So the sempertex balloons are kind of really stretchy, especially their chrome balloons, and it's harder to form them, but they're a lot softer than tuftex and easier to work with, easier to tie, easier to pull. So the gold here looks kind of like a champagne gold color, still beautiful, kind of depends what style you're going for, but this really worked out for her venue at the end of everything. So I'm putting my rubber bands onto all my 5-inch filler balloons. If you've been on this channel, you've seen me explain and show you exactly how to do all this, so if you're interested, just check out those videos. Now I'm assembling my balloon sizer so that I can make the columns. She also ordered 2 columns. So now this event is for an opening of a nail salon. When she contacted me, you know, I always get excited to decorate, and I know each thing is unique, but people opening businesses, starting out, is always a fun thing for me because I feel like I'm being a part of a new thing starting. So we're gonna create some space here so we can start making our spiral column so you can actually see what I'm doing. These bags I get from the U-Haul store. I've been asked that before. They're just mattress bags. I think this one is a full size. I have a full size, or I have several full size and several of the queen size. It just depends the size of your car, how much it'll fit, because you don't want to overstuff or they'll end up popping. Now I am inflating all the balloons for the columns except the topper to 8 inches. So I'm working with the same colors. I decide to use 2 blacks. We're doing a spiral design, so we're using 2 blacks, 1 gold and 1 white. So the easiest way for me to do that is just tie my blacks together and the other 2 colors tie them together, just so it's a lot easier for me to keep track of and to be able to do it. Now here's our pole we're going to use. We're tightening everything up to make sure it's not loose and doesn't come apart. And I realize it's a little bit too tall, so I'm taking off one section. These are just the regular lampposts from Walmart that I buy. So first you're going to put the balloon on the base. You put the blacks together like that, so that when you insert it through, you twist it over to stay on the pole and it fits the color that it's supposed to work with. So see how I had to rotate right there so that the gold aligns. There's several designs you can do. I'm just creating a spiral because that's the picture she sent me. So I have the blacks together, insert it through, twist around, and then I'll make sure everything is aligned. You want to pay attention. Even though I'm rushing to get through this, I still have to pay attention so that I don't get it messed up. I've done that before, and after the event had started and people were taking pictures is when I realized that my balloons were not aligned, and I've never gotten over that. So now, because it's pretty significant, because when people look at spiral columns, they're following those spirals, and it just makes more sense. So we're going all the way to the top, and I forgot here to put my tape or balloon at the very top of that. Sorry, at the very top of the pole. I usually put like a 5-inch balloon to protect the balloons that are gonna sit at the top so they don't pop. But I put a piece of tape at the venue, so you'll see me do that later on in the video. We're making the second one. This time I'm kind of pausing, hesitant, because I'm thinking of switching the style. Instead of having it go spiral left direction of the video, I'm going right. So we're spiraling from the bottom right, so you can see how it's going opposite of what the other column was. I just thought this would look a lot nicer, and she can put it whichever way, it would still look good. So we're done with 2. Now I have more balloons to inflate, because we're gonna inflate balloons that are gonna go at the top there to cover the pole. But also we need a bigger balloon, which is going to be our 3-foot balloon to go at the very top. So I've inflated it. This is a 3-foot balloon. I have other balloons there prepped, pretty much 2 of the four balloons, 2 sets of 4s to go on the top. So you want to tie your big balloon as close as you can to the tip. We need 2 of those. So I'm making sure the second one is all well sized. I have the chair and that my balloon supply bag to measure. As long as they're the same, you don't want it not to look even. So have that done. I'm inflating and tying. Then we're going to use 260 Qs on the very base of that balloon. Tie 2 knots so that it stays in place, and we're going to assemble the 2 pieces that are going to go on top. So I just use the necks to secure them together. So pull the necks from the top pieces around the bottom pieces and tie on the bottom. So that holds that in place, but I have to make sure that my spiral is in the opposite direction, like I said, so that when I get to the venue, they all align. So that's gonna go like so. I'm gonna show you once we get to the venue how I put that together. And that piece is gonna go on top, but I'm gonna stretch that 260Q and wrap around so everything stays in place. Tying the second 260Q onto this one, and then we're going to take all this apart, pack it in the bag, pack all our balloons in a different bag so that we're not mixed up on how we're setting things up. And we'll be heading to the venue here shortly. Okay, we are done prepping. I'm gonna go figure out when I'm carrying all this, because the car I have can't transport all of it. But I'm thinking if tonight I can grab the balloons, load it in the car on my way to work. When I get off work, then I can just go straight to install. But I'll figure all that out once I get some sleep. If this is your first time and you're not subscribed, or you've been watching and you're still not subscribed, I'd appreciate if you support my channel and click that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any video. I will see you guys at the venue for setup. Thank you for watching. Just kidding about meeting you at the venue. So I came this morning, this is the next day, to prep all my stuff, load everything, and decided to put my stand together because a customer said she was taking her kids to school. I got this stand on Amazon so I could use it for setups like balloons, so that it's easier for me and safer with me keeping my pipe and drape kit. The pipe and drape kits are not cheap, and I would rather not leave it for long with the customer. I've had a situation in the past where they ended up bending part of my pipe and drape because they kept the pipe and drape. So this is one I got on Amazon. I didn't realize it had to be put together with screws, but that's what I'm working on here. A couple of pieces came dented, but I was able to work it out and get it partially assembled to save me time when I get to the venue. I say save time, I ended up staying there way longer than I planned because we were just talking about different business things, different life situations with her opening. So here I'm inflating. Here I'm putting the stand together so that it saves me time. I'll have this linked on my Amazon storefront in case you want to use it for your setups, but I'm really choosing this so that the customer can keep the balloons longer, which is what she wanted to do. And my stand, again, lightweight, fine cut. Okay, I have to walk around. I locked that front door. So I'm gonna go around and show you guys how I loaded the car. I have the screws in my back pocket to put the other 2 pieces together. I don't even know what time it is here. My watch died. 8:32. Her opening starts at 10 is what she said. Gonna be cutting it so close. I'm just hoping the balloons are enough. Okay,
quick view. You saw me stuff the back and I put the poles so they'll fit. Just quickly show you the side. So that's the rest for the columns. The other column is right behind this one, as you can see. Let's go. There's even room here, but more so that you can put individual balloons. All right, pull up the address. I'll see you guys there.
Okay, I'm at the venue. Richard met me here to help me set up the rest of the backdrop stand. We're switching cars because he has to leave, but I thought I was pressed for time, which I wasn't. But I'm going to connect the balloons now. Each color block here has 8 balloons, so I'm putting all that together, pulling them out of the bag as we discussed before, in the order that I put them in. So now once I have this side complete, then I'll be able to connect it. That's the pole right there, and I already have my 260Q tied on the balloon post. The other thing we faced was the customer forgot to bring her backdrop. So while I'm waiting for her to bring the backdrop to attach, I can work on these balloons that go on the left side of the backdrop. Once I'm done doing that and she brings the backdrop, then we'll hook that up and I can finish arranging the balloons. But I have few other things, the columns, I have this side to arrange, and she doesn't live too far, so she's gonna go grab it and meet me back here. But that's me connecting the 260Q onto the balloons, making sure it's nice and stable. That is the first part. And I'm going to connect this last piece onto the top but not attach it to the pole, so that I attach the backdrop first. But always remember to tie your 260Q when you're putting these backdrops onto our columns. I am putting the top on by first tying the neck of the bottom piece secure to the pole. My top 3-foot balloon popped, one of them, so I have to come back to put the next one because I did not bring that size, unfortunately. That's the 260Q that I'm stretching down to attach to that rest of the column, so wrapping it around so it's nice and secure on there. And then I have the other piece. I can't remember if I attached that or not, but I'm trying to configure how it goes and it's not straight, so I have to twist it around a couple of times again, make sure it's aligned. So doesn't that look really pretty? I think that's a nice design. I couldn't decide what colors I wanted to alternate, but it worked out. Here I am, like I said, taping the pole so that it doesn't pop the balloon, because they're gonna move it later on. I don't want them moving and things come apart, so I'm just shifting the balloon, sliding through there and putting. See, that's what happened before the other one popped. I had balloons in here that got real hot and melted onto the bag. So then when I put the big balloon in, it attached to that, and when I was trying to pull it apart, it just popped it. So I put tape over that to cover it up. Now we're putting filler balloons while we wait for the customer to bring the backdrop. We're gonna just do that on the base. At least saves a little bit of time before we can go home and take a nap. But this was a real fun setup in the sense that the customer was a delight to work with. So it was her family, part of her family, her husband, her in-laws, her sister. They were very kind, and especially her. Can you believe at the end of everything she gave me cuticle oil and some lotion for my hands, since my hands were so dry. So I was so thankful for that, and gave me a decent tip, which I don't typically get tips. Okay, my hair is a mess. She went to get the backdrop, so I want to put the backdrop. Let me turn my tired face. She went to get the backdrop, so I want to put the backdrop first before I put that top part. But the balloons go only up to here, and then she has some down here. So I'm waiting for her to come before I put the 5-inch clusters, because I don't yet know what direction I'll style these top balloons, so that's the issue now. But I did make that one smaller. I think I'll probably explain all this before. But we're waiting for the backdrop. I'm gonna try to cover down here, probably add a few more down there. Okay, the backdrop is here. It's a custom printed backdrop. We're going to attach it to the metal stand and figure out ways to minimize the gap between the backdrop and the balloons. Now the other thing here is the balloons, or the backdrop, is a pretty sturdy material, so I had to find ways to really pull it out so that it smooths itself. And because I don't have balloons on the top as much, I have more on the left side. I had to also find ways to cover that right side so that it's not so obvious. So I don't have a ladder. I'm using this bucket to stand on, but it was pretty sturdy. And just rearranging things, I'm going to start filling that spot, making sure that the gap is not too much and the backdrop is not folded. I have to really sit down and think of a way to do this where the balloons are actually covered. I think maybe it would be to really fill in the balloons even more so that it covers, and you'll see me do that here shortly just to cover some of the gaps. I'm putting more of the filler balloons in here so that that left side is complete and we can move on to the right side. I definitely didn't have enough balloons. These are, I think, getting up to that gold is where I ended, and I had some extra black, so I had to inflate all the balloons that went on the right and all the ones that went on the top. So this is me twisting a filler balloon with a pair of 12-inch balloons to get that space filled, because that spot had two big 17-inch balloon and it just didn't look organic. So I did that so that it gives a little more dimension to the balloon. This is the piece that's going to go on the right side. I'm just tying the necks together before I put the balloons on this backdrop. So I'm deciding which direction I want to put it, and since her space has a lot of gold, I just kept the black on the bottom and I'm attaching. I think I'll show you another angle here shortly. It was hard to place my phone because I didn't have my stand, so I had to figure out angles where to lean the balloon so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. So you know, with balloons, I always tell you, you can adjust them, you can twist them around, you can rearrange. So you just keep watching, step back to look at what you're doing. And this is the final look. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you love this design. Thank you guys so much and remain blessed.